You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I am really privileged to be here today with a wonderful guest and a wonderful friend and also a wonderful creator. We have here with me DJ Afrisha, who is here in Seattle, Washington. Afrisha, go ahead and say hello to everyone who is watching the show this morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is DJ Afrisha. I'm a local multicultural curator, experience curator here in Seattle, Washington, and my specialties are music of African, American, Latin, all over the world. So I'm just here excited today to be with you all, and good morning, friends around the world. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you again for making the time. I know it's very early in the morning. Here in Seattle, it's exactly 6:02 in the morning, and a lot of people that I invite as guests are always just laughing at me and saying, "What? You're asking me to come for a show at 6 in the morning?" And you made it. You made it. You're amongst the courageous ones here in Seattle, and I just can't wait to talk more about some of the wonderful work that you do in the community, some of the amazing events that you've DJ'd, and also talk about Madaraka Festival that is coming up here on May 16th. We have Madaraka Festival. For those who don't know, I've been talking about Madaraka Festival here on the African Father in America podcast for a long time now. So May 16th, we will be in New York at Irving Plaza, May 21st in Atlanta, May 24th in Dallas, and then May 26th, we have the grand finale here in Seattle, Washington, where Afrisha is going to be one of the DJs and one of the artists who will be performing. So I just want you to get ready because we'll be talking a lot about that. And I also want to go ahead and share the proverb for the day. But before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to everybody on TikTok and everybody on Twitter and everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn, all of you who are joining us right now for today's episode of the African Father in America podcast. You are much appreciated and really valued. Take a moment and comment down below with where you are, and also listen to today's proverb and share your interpretation in the comments. Our proverb is from Morocco. We've gone to North Africa today, and the proverb says that it is better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. It's better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. I'll go to the 3 nuggets of wisdom related to this proverb. While you think about what it means for you, I'll share with you the research that my team and I did to find what we think could be the lessons that this proverb is trying to teach us. Our ancestors left us with these proverbs in order for us to gain some wisdom and gain some guidance from their words. And so this is what we think this proverb is saying. Number 1, being envied can signify success. Being envied can signify success, while being pitied can indicate weakness or failure. I think we all can relate to growing up. For example, in Kenya, sometime we had friends or even peers in our neighborhood that everybody envied them for their soccer skills. They went to any soccer game, they scored 9 goals, 15 goals. But then you had others who played in the same soccer game, but they were only pitied for maybe they were the goalkeeper, for how many goals they let in, so everybody was like, I'm sorry, everything will be okay. Anyway, the second nugget of wisdom: strive to achieve your goals and be proud of your accomplishments, even if they make others jealous. This is really important, especially for me, as I am producing Madaraka Festival now, and it's growing to a national level, where it's growing to a level that it has never been. And I'm definitely trusting God so that everything happens through divine guidance. But again, I'm dealing with a lot of people that you clearly know that this one has a very special issue that is going on for them. But don't be distracted by people who do not have better things to do. Just stay focused on your goal. That's what we are being told here. Strive to achieve your goals and be proud of your accomplishments, even when they make others jealous. It's not your job to pay attention to people who are jealous about the work that you're doing, but your job is to continue focusing on your goal. Number 3, pity can be disempowering, whereas jealousy can inspire motivation and drive for improvement. If people always have express pity towards you, it actually takes a lot of energy from you. So it's really important that if you see that people are pitying you, find a way to get yourself out of that situation. And what this proverb is teaching us is that it's better for people to be jealous about the things that you're doing, because it indicates that there is something that you're doing right. So those are some of the nuggets of wisdom for you to think about. And again, our proverb is from Morocco. It says it is better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. Now I want to come back to my wonderful guest here, DJ Afrisha. I want you to also share with us your thoughts. When we sent you this proverb, it is better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. What is it that came to your mind? What is it that you thought about when we sent you this proverb?
Hey, Simon, thank you for having me back again. When I first saw this proverb, it's better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. There were the first two things that had come to my mind. I didn't think they would pay off as an adult, but I have been told this when I was younger. The first person, her and I had a mutual friend, and we had gotten into a disagreement. And the outcome was a little bit childish, I would say. And me and my friend, we had reasoned amongst ourselves. And one thing I wasn't expecting her to say, she had said, in life, sometimes you've got to have some haters. And I said, what is that supposed to mean? I'm a kind of person, I like peace. I like peaceful situations. And like you said, it's important to strive for your goals and not to get distracted and remain focused on the goal at hand. And what are the problems that we need to solve? And we're not going to get it with strife. So when she had told me you've got to have some haters sometime, I said, well, I just let it go over my head. And it had taught me that where there was one person, there there were many, and you look around and you see that maybe you had not been intending to be in any kind of competition with anybody in any kind of way, not in skill, not in look, not in any competition. Just me, for example, I love music from around the world. I love to bring people from around the world with different cultures, different kind of music, different genres. So that's my thing. I think it's important. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. My phone is trying to go to sleep.
No problem, no
We are
problem.
up. We
No
are
problem.
up. Okay.
Yeah. Carry on.
That lesson had just taught me that, hey, you know, I'm not sure what I had done intentionally or unintentionally to this woman, but I guess there was nothing that I could do, not an apology that I could give. I'm sorry. Whatever it is that I did, if you talk to me, I'm sure we could work it out. I said I'm a peaceful person. Sometimes there's just not that option, and I accepted that after a long time because you can't win everybody, and that's okay. So I just figured if it was something that I'd done, I gave my apology, and that had been that. So looking back, knowing that there was nothing that I didn't intend, I know that I did not intentionally do, and there was no, reconciliation. Just having them had set my friend tell me, sometimes you got to have some haters. I didn't realize that my love for music and my love for blending a fusion of different genres together and people like it, that would upset some people. So it's better to be the object of jealousy than of pity. The second part of this meaning that I thought was the literal definition of each one. What would be the difference? Maybe a feeling of discontent or resent um, from someone else's gifts or possessions that maybe their natural talents, verse or luck and qualities, maybe hard work, education, or just they've been working on their talent for a long time. Versus the feeling of sorrow and compassion caused by the suffering and misfortunes of others. Sometimes, like you said, you do your part, what you can. Um, Suffering is not a great thing. So we try, if you feel compassion and you see somebody or something suffering, you're gonna try to do what you can to make it better to the best of your ability. Some people sometimes they don't see it that way. So I think it's better to be, like you said, seen and recognized in a high quality fashion and delivery. In education, she was very invested in extracurricular activities. So she thought in order for me to, stay out of trouble and not become delinquent, she made sure that I would go to summer school. She made sure that I went to different programs that were going on at the local community center, which were up the street from my house where I lived. So they were about walking distance, and my mom worked all the time. So she said, hey, why don't you see what's new at the rec center up the street? So I said, sure, I'd love to go. And one day they had a program. It was called iCamp, ICAMP, and it was short for interactive camp. And at interactive camp, they had music production, they had coding, video games, all kind of cool stuff. So I said, okay, I would like to participate in these because the same thing as a kid, I had never gotten an opportunity to have access to this kind of technology before. So anytime that I could get my hands on photography, film equipment, um, things of that nature, produce short clips with my friends, whether it was on a camera or phone, it was always just to be current. And that technology, from when I was a kid, my favorite part was audio production engineering. So you could make beats, you could record yourself, you could do lyrics, you could play an instrument. So being able to see how to do all those things in one program, I was like, okay. I was like, let me see what there is to this. When I was coming up as a kid, my parents collected a lot of music internationally. So they collected Latin music, they had African music, European music, all kinds, Black American music, rock and roll, hip hop, country, Caribbean. So my sister, also she acquired a lot of music as well. So when I was coming up in the time when music was transitioning. I'm just trying to keep track of time here. When it was transitioning from like records to cassettes, CDs to floppy disk, and then pretty soon USB. Now we just download music from the air. So having seen all this technology change, one day I said, as I was 19, I said I was the marketing officer for the Black Student Union at Bellevue College. And the African students Association and the Black Student Union decided to get together and host the very first reggae dance hall. So everybody came together. We brought food, we brought music, people had instruments, people played live. And so just to see all of the melting pot of cultures, it was African, Latino, European, the same students that I went to school with, they were all there enjoying the same music. So that really paved the way for me to want to share my music with the rest of the community. So I have, and I not really had the opportunity, like you said, as a young female, to be able to come to Seattle Drum School where I am now and be able to take a lesson with the modern technology like there is now. So I just bought one day. I was 19. I said I'm going to do this, and I was looking on Amazon and I saw one that I wanted. I said, I like that one. And having seen other DJs around at different events, whether it was a carnival or a festival, a street fair, it was just nice to see the way how they made people vibe and how they chose the music and what was really the mood that they wanted to curate and just seeing how everybody always had such a nice time. It really influenced me to want to do the same thing. So, having collected a lot of digital music, I just had access to the local library. So, at those times, they had CDs, same thing. You just download it, iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, whatever they have, Pandora, and that's how we got our music back in the day. So, I would just say that those are the big influences to me was the summer camps that I took and wanting to bring this technology back to the community in areas for people who may not have the same opportunities like I did. They have the ability to use this setup that I've got, actually what I'm working on right now, my control board. They have the option to come and choose tens of thousands of songs from all around the world, made it at least 70 years, from the past to now, and people can see how music sounded. They can understand what people's stories were at that time when they were alive, or if they're still alive. Not everybody's still making music, but you can learn through the stories that people told on their recording what was their thoughts at that time. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, for being such a storyteller. I feel like you need to have your own podcast too, where you can talk about all these amazing stories and nuggets that you're sharing with us right now. Now, if you're just joining us for the African Father in America podcast, my name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the host of the African Father in America podcast, and I have a really special guest, multi-experience curator and DJ and community organizer. DJ Afrisha is here with us. She will be DJing at the Madaraka Festival that is coming up in Seattle at Benaroya Hall on May 26th. We want to talk about that for a moment. So if you don't know about it, I'm also wearing a Madaraka Festival sweatshirt, this one here. So if you want one of these Madaraka Festival hoodie or sweatshirt or t-shirt or tote bag, you should DM me, or comment on YouTube, and I'll be able to find you and I'll be able to share more information with you. But Afrisha, when you first heard about Madaraka Festival, when was it that you first heard about Madaraka Festival, and what do you think of this year's Madaraka Festival in general, but also why is it important to you?
Multiple questions there. I think the first time I heard about Madaraka Festival may have been around the time that I was attending school at Bellevue, which might have been 2015, 16, about that time. And I think you may have started about 2014. about that time. So I had caught on a little while, and I can't remember. I cannot remember if it had been a Madaraka festival or Kijiji night, but either way, you had been involved. And the way how I heard, or I guess I found out the two were connected through the two of you. What through both of those things were connected to you. Excuse me. Was that I had attended one event, and I think you had hosted it. Was with Samini. Samini had come, and that was so nice to see it. I want to say it was a Seattle Art Museum. Is that yes? So that experience was just life changing. The atmosphere, the ambiance, the food, the people, the culture. It really it drew me in, and it made me want to learn more. So I said, okay, I want to attend more of these events, because when I was younger, I didn't really have the opportunities. But now that I was older, I said, okay, I'm in school. I'm part of a cultural club. I speak another language. I said, okay, I would like to learn more. What can I do beyond just the club title, to really benefit the community? So as I got to learn more about Kenyan culture and become more aware, I didn't even know there was so many like different ethnic groups and languages, and is mannerisms, different ways to even speak, and customs. So I was like, okay, I want to learn more, because it's important to be able to curate a vibe amongst multiple people and just make people feel welcome, to make them feel celebrated, to make them feel understood and recognized. And the second part, to answer your question about what kind of drew me to Madaraka Festival and made me want to be more involved, is because I was reading the story. I had recalled some other press releases that were done on Madaraka Festival just over years past. And I was amazed to see excuse me, the arts music program that you've got in Kisumu for the orphanage for your mother's place where she had it. And so now I guess it's grown to a theater. They have a recording studio. And when I had heard about you, I think at that time I was already probably 21 or so. So I was really out on the scene of Seattle, just doing different multicultural events around, meeting people from different areas, either whether they live here or they were passing, and or guests, as guest DJs or entertainers, friends. So I would just become close to them because we would become accustomed, or just keep in touch through social media, and it would pay off, and we'd meet in different states, different cities. They would come here, or I'd go there. And so just working around and having that different multicultural understanding of, hey, like, what's it like, over there? What does the music sound like? What does the food taste like? And just being curious to know your neighbor, right? And really being welcome and open, and not seeing people as other, but what can we find that we both like about each other has to offer? So I think the best way to celebrate that I like is the musical art form, and
Yeah, there's no better
to
way
bring
to
to
say.
bring people together.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There's no better way to celebrate that than music and bringing people together. And I definitely can't wait to see your performance at Madaraka Festival. Uh, you know, speak to everyone who is not aware that you're going to be performing at Madaraka Festival, and also that how considering the history that you shared with us, and also the future that we are seeing coming, where you'll be on the stage with all these other incredible artists from all across the world, really. How does that make you feel?
To know Madaraka Fest, the mission that the proceeds are going back to donate to the students so that they can continue to benefit, is much like what I'm doing here at Seattle Drum School, making this technology available to the community. That's where I really felt there was a true alignment. And so I'm so happy that we, um, let's see, Oh, there's one project that I'm not sure if we've told you, but oh, excuse me, lights are doing a little something here. One project we've got going on here in Seattle, the city of Seattle is currently recognizing the AFIA Cultural Educational Workshop as the Pacific Northwest premier provider of African cultural heritage in the Pacific Northwest for the last 40 years. And so, because they are recognizing the cultural building itself as a landmark, the city of Seattle is getting ready to so we're asking the community, we're outreaching to the community, say, hey, if you know anybody that can help us to spread the word as the community gets ready to redo this cultural space, it would be greatly appreciated because the cultural space is going to be dedicated to preserving African cultural arts, much like Madaraka Fest, much like Kijijine, much like the other cultural celebrations that are occurring here in Seattle all of the time. So this is really just going to be a new cultural space for everybody to come together, to celebrate, and to just welcome in the new space. So we will have some more updates on that as they come. My social media is going to be at DJ Afrisha. That's DJAFREESHA. You can find me DJ Afrisha at Instagram, Facebook, and you can find me there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, DJ Afrisha, for making the time, especially this early in the morning. I just deeply appreciate that. And I can't wait. I'll connect with you later after this. There's so many things I need to connect with you about. So hit me up whenever you've settled in after such an early morning rise. But to all our viewers, all our listeners, I know that some of you are going to be listening to this while you're driving to work. Thank you. And we will see you tomorrow for another amazing episode of the African Father in America podcast. I deeply appreciate you. DJ Afrisha, take good care of yourself. Peace and love.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Perfect.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Jalvano Kello, live from Seattle.